Joining us on the dais now from Tufts, head coach Carla Berube, student athletes Michela North and Maura Folliard. We'll open with a statement from Coach Berube and then take questions for the student athletes.
Well, not the outcome we were hoping for. I thought it was, from my vantage point, a great basketball game. Hopefully the fans enjoyed it. We're very, we feel very fortunate to have played in this game tonight. Thanks to the NCAA again for having us into the city of Indianapolis, and it was an amazing experience. I think my team battled. We didn't give up. Made it a game in the fourth quarter by making plays and just playing tough basketball the way we have all season. And then down the stretch, Thomas More made the big plays. They've got big-time players, and I think it was some of their so-called non-stars that really shined. Temple had a great game. Kiernan had a great game, and they were tough defensively, made everything really hard for us, and but again, I think it was a hard-fought battle, and I'm really proud of my jumbos, and thankful for this experience.
Thanks, Coach. We'll take questions for the student athletes right down here.
Pat Edenrup from the Associated Press. Michela, the game seemed to be played at your pace. You held Moss to 4-14 shooting. Was it a matter of their defense or just not enough of your offense, or what do you think was the difference?
Yeah, I guess it was a combination of both. Our shots weren't falling. A lot of theirs were. And they also out-rebounded us, I think, on the offensive and defensive end. They just got after it on both ends, and things were working for them.
Question down here in the front.
Marvin Chambers, Houston Sun. Michela, first half, you guys was going to your sets very easily. The second half, guys seemed like through your offensive progress, it was difficult. What adjustment did Thomas and Moore make to make your offense stagnant?
I think they were just working really hard to make sure we didn't get open. I guess they were denying any passes inside, making it hard for my guards to even look into me. So they were making every shot difficult, and it was hard to get any shots off, and then they weren't really falling for us, so it made it hard to score.
Question right back here.
Evan Sales with Tufts Daily. Do you think that the level of play that we saw in the first quarter was a level we needed to see throughout the whole game to win? And what prevented that from happening? Was it foul trouble? Or did the team step up like you would have expected?
Who's that question for?
The student athletes.
Michela, you want to start that?
Sure. We came out with a lot of energy in the first quarter. I think we had a 17-11 lead. We would have liked to push that, but they kind of crawled their way back, kept scoring, couldn't really get a stop for a while, and they just go on runs. They're an emotional team, and they had a huge fan base here cheering them on, and that's what they play off of. I think we needed to come out with that energy every quarter, but it didn't really seem like we did. In the third quarter, we outscored them, I think, by a point, and I wish we could have kept up the energy for the entire game, but I guess that's not really what happened.
Yeah, I agree. I think that our defense just needed to, really box out. I think them getting on the boards as much as they did really affected us, and they were able to get easy second chance opportunities after we worked really hard to stop them the first time. So I think that made a big difference in the game.
Question down here in the front.
Maura, it was tied at 49. Moss makes a steal and a layup, and they go on a 10-0 run. Were you guys out of energy at that point, or what happened in the last 6.5 minutes there?
I wouldn't say we were out of energy. You know, I know a lot of people were in foul trouble, and I think that people's kind of attitude towards everything was kind of down, but we just needed to pick it up and look for a spark or anything like that, and, you know, shots were falling for them and not for us.
Take a final question here for the student athletes in the front.
Maura, as a senior, what has this NCAA tournament mean to you, and what can you learn from and teach the youngest, underclassmen behind you?
Yeah, this has been an absolutely amazing experience. We can't thank the NCAA enough for everything they've done for us, treating us like we're absolute queens. I think for the underclassmen, it really gives them motivation to keep doing well in the tournament as time goes on. And as a senior, just had to meet Emma Roberson, Nicole Brooks, Michelle Wu, had to give it our all the entire tournament and just work as hard as we could so we could hopefully inspire underclassmen to keep doing the same in the years to come.
Great, thank you, ladies. They'll be available in the locker room until 8:39. You can go ahead back. We're taking questions for you.
Oh.
Sorry. Nice try. We'll take questions for Coach Berube.
Oh.
We'll start right here.
Creighton Raps from Hero Sports, Coach. Down the stretch, actually, before I get that, the foul shooting, very, very disparate. They went 24 times, and you guys went 7. I mean, that almost seems like, I guess, was it tightly called, or just your thoughts on that?
I mean, that's what the box score says. Yeah. It was difficult. It was difficult. We pride ourselves on our defense. We play tough defense. We play aggressive defense. And when you're playing a great offensive team, sometimes it's called tight, sometimes it's not. Tonight it was pretty tight. Having Melissa Baptista on the bench for most of the game was tough for us. She's a big piece of our team. Having Emma Roberson, out with 2 fouls really early, it's not easy. I thought Michelle Wu and Maura Folliard, 2 seniors, really stepped up in there in place of them and made big plays for us. And so that's who we are as well. If someone's not having a good game, someone's in foul trouble, someone else is going to step up. But yeah, I mean, that's, them making 17 free throws to our 4 free throws. It's a big disparity, but those were probably a lot of fouls. It was called tight.
Question down here in the front.
Carla, they obviously had a big crowd, but you had, it seemed like a who's who of UConn people in the audience. Gino and Rebecca, Sue Bird, Svetlana was there, Renee Montgomery, I could go on and on. What did that mean to you to have all those
It was
former
awesome.
Huskies?
I mean, I didn't see him. I saw a few of them at the end, still cheering for us. It means a lot. It means that, once a family member, always a family member of the UConn club. And I'm, so happy that they were able to come and watch us play and hopefully feel proud that one of their members has brought their team to this stage and to the championship. I'm thankful to have them in the crowd. I do think we had a pretty good crowd ourselves of Jumbo Nation if you saw them out there, and so it's I feel very, very thankful and fortunate for all of them being here.
Question here in the middle.
Thanks. Gordon Mann, D3 Hoops. Hi, Carla. Two-parter for you. Last year's score against some of the semifinals, almost exactly the same. So can you talk a little bit about, I know different teams, different players, but talk a little bit about how this year was different from last year? And unrelated second question, you talk a little bit about why Abby Owings is so hard to defend?
Yeah, I mean, I do think it was a different game. I think we took care of the ball a lot better than we did last year. So we were, I think, Lauren Dillon did a great job, running our offense, taking care of the ball in the press. And then it was, it was hard to execute versus them. Like I said yesterday in the press conference, that's a very good defensive team. I don't think they get enough credit for their defense because everybody talks about the 90 points. They talk about, Sydney Moss, but Abby Owings makes them go. Got out into transition a bit. She got to the rim on us. I'm not sure where our help defense was, but she's a dynamic player herself. The two of them are just phenomenal players at any level. But really, I thought it was their role players that really made the difference in this year's game. And yeah, I knew we need to score more than 50 points to win, and it just didn't happen. I actually thought that we could have defended a lot better too. We defended Moss well. She missed some shots, but way too many second chance opportunities for them, whether it be loose balls or offensive rebounds for them. I don't think we did as good a job putting a body on them as we had been doing. But like I said, they made the plays when they needed to.
We have time for one final question. Anything else? Okay. Thank you, Coach.
Okay.
The Thomas More locker room is open now. It'll close at 8:49.